Evening, folks. Brian here. It's Thursday, May 29, 2025. In my tonight's talk, I want to give you my interpretation on one thing and my opinion on another. First of all, my interpretation of the beast system. I think a lot of people are getting it totally wrong. The beast system, folks, it's not a digital currency. It's not a digital ID. It's not AI. It's none of that. It won't be a microchip. It won't be a card carried in your wallet. It'll be none of that. The beast system, the beast from the earth, is to promote the authority of the beast from the sea and perform great wonders and signs, including bringing fire down from heaven. It is also referred to as the false prophet, and it forces people to worship the image of the beast from the sea. The two beasts are going to be symbolic of political and religious powers that will oppose God and his kingdom. You see, that is the beast system. They will represent systems of rule and religious powers that, again, will oppose God and Christianity. The beast system is depicted, it will be depicted as a force of deception and oppression. Now we're talking about the mark. Again, the mark is not this. It's not an RFID chip in here. It's not an app on your phone. It has nothing to do with it. It is a mark to be displayed on your forehead or right hand to show your allegiance to the beast, to the Antichrist, to show your allegiance, to show your rejection of God in favor for your submission to the Antichrist, to the beast. And that you must have the mark by his name or number in order to partake economically, to buy and sell. Revelation 13. And it's a representation of your spiritual alliance to the Antichrist. Okay. What everybody here today calls the beast system is not going to be the beast system. When is the beast system? The beast system is midpoint of tribulation. It's when the Great Tribulation starts. The indications of the coming tribulation, the indications of the coming tribulations, is the wars and the rumors of wars and the nations against nations and the kingdoms against kingdoms and the earthquakes in one place after another and another and another, along with the pestilence and the famines. The birth pangs. That is not God's wrath upon the world and upon the church. His wrath will be upon those who take the mark of the beast. So for those to say, well, the church is not appointed to God's wrath. Of course not. His wrath doesn't start until the later half of the tribulation, the Great Tribulation. The birth pangs are the initial events leading up to the tribulation, preceding the Great Tribulation itself. The birth pangs, of course, being a period of increasing chaos and upheaval, distress among the nations. Before the intensification of the tribulation. So again, birth pangs are not God's wrath. Let's go back to the beast system. And how easy it's going to be for the beast to get the majority of the world's population's acceptance and taking the mark of the beast. This will be after everything that Jesus just said. After the great loss of life from all the wars, the earthquakes and other natural disasters, the pestilences and the famines, people brought down to their knees after great losses, their families and their children starving and begging for food. People will lose everything, their homes, all of it, falling into desperation and despair. Then the Antichrist says, now's my time, now I got him. Then he arises from the sea to be seen falsely so as a person of saviorship that everybody will gladly bow down to and take his mark, because they're going to be in such a state of desperation. Not everybody. Those who are spiritually awake and who have prepared, who will be here by that time. It really annoys me when I hear just a whole bunch of people, including the fake pastors and the false teachers. This is the beast system, the beast system. They're implementing the beast system. They don't implement anything until the Antichrist is here. The Antichrist is not going to need anybody's help. The system is the two beasts. That is the system. The mark to be seen, to show their allegiance and worship of, including an idol made of the beast. That is the system. Not the digital currency being formulated, not the digital ID, none of that crap. Now, this is going to lead to the second part of my talk, my personal opinion, which is going to offend some people. I got over 1,000 people waiting on my Facebook to come in as friends. It's all right. I just got a notification on my phone that my data was all full up, so I had to stop and go into my files and start emptying a whole bunch of things. So, the second part is the pre-trib rapture, which is a Western concept idea, originated in England and America, which is not mentioned anywhere in the Bible. And the West is not the center of biblical prophecy. If Jesus and the angels do not know the time, then no man nor woman in their arrogance and beliefs knows the time period. And God will not give anybody visions of the rapture. If he's not going to tell his angels, and if his son doesn't know, he's not going to give people on YouTube visions of when the rapture is. False prophets, frauds. Yet staunch believers are going to cherry pick what they want to believe to try and prove their points. For example, they'll use the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 9. They will use Daniel, who said to the Lord, he did not understand the prophecy that was given to him. The Lord responded with the words, "Go your way, Daniel, For those words are concealed and sealed up until the end times. That's just one example that the pre-trib rapture people, believers, are going to use. Now, Jesus mentions indirectly the concept of the rapture, but nowhere in the Bible is the rapture mentioned. In Revelation chapter 3, verse 10, I will keep you from the hour of trial that is to come upon the whole world, to test those who live on the earth. He doesn't say anything about the timing. The hour of trial is a biblical concept associated with divine testing and perseverance. A time of testing for believers. Prophetic events that precede Christ's return. And these will be the challenges for us believers. In Matthew 24, verse 26, he says and emphasizes that no one knows the exact time of the end. And again, the term rapture is never mentioned in the Bible. And continuing in verses 4 to 8, take heed that no one deceive you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. And you will hear the wars and the rumors of wars, etc., etc., etc. But see that you are not troubled, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet. He's describing the birth pangs and the very beginnings of the sorrows. Although some would argue the beginning of the sorrows went back 2,000 years. It goes on to say that they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you. And you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. Who will be hated? Christians will be hated by his name's sake. Which means we're still going to be here for a certain duration. And again, the many false prophets will arise and deceive many. Many false prophets will deceive many. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. But he who endures until the end shall be saved. We that endure to the end shall be saved. And it goes on and on and on. So there's absolutely nothing in the Bible, period, which indicates a time of the rapture, never mind using the word rapture, before the tribulation. And I think a lot of people misunderstand what tribulation is. There's the beginning part, the sorrows and the birth pangs. The midpoint, chapter 13, the beast system, and the great tribulation, God's wrath upon those who say, no, not you, God. My allegiance is to the beast and the Antichrist. If you know you're not going to succumb to the Antichrist and the beast, if you know you'll never take the mark, it's no big deal, man. you do know you're going to have a very difficult time, in my opinion. Now, I know a few people are going to say, they're going to start quoting verses. But this says, and this means we're going to be raptured out, blah, blah, blah. Every time something starts happening in the world, people get so joyous and happy. Oh, we're going home. Oh, boy, we're not going to be exposed to all of that. And I fear that those are the ones who are going to be the least prepared and most affected by the earth-changing events coming up. And the chaos and the upheaval and the wars. I'm listening to people on the internet who have just given a 7-hour timeline hours ago that this is it. Iran will be struck. War is now starting. 7-hour warning timeline hours ago. However, I haven't confirmed the news report, but Netanyahu has been, all of a sudden has to go in for a medical procedure, and somebody else has been left in command. People have no idea the trials and the tribulations that we're all going to be going through. The exposure to the great earth changes, the great earthquakes and related disaster, volcanic eruptions, weather events, etc. And the wars, they think it's not going to be affecting them. Great economic losses. And as a result of all of those things, then the famines and the pestilences. So me, I don't worry about the beast system, because we had to get through the first 3.5 years. We had to prepare ourselves. Jesus told us through his apostles to prepare ourselves. Why would he tell us all of these things if we're not going to be here? At least for the first half of the tribulation. And when does it formally begin? Nobody knows. It's also like all these YouTubers. I have private intel. I can't say who it is, but I have private intel. Oh, hang on. I got intel. Hang on. I have private intelligence intel. I have private military intel. I have intelligence. I still don't know it all. I had to keep on going back. You don't read it once and then think you know it all. I made that statement a few days ago. That a fake preacher tried to repeat every single word that I said a few days ago. Again. Just like his accomplice just did a video. Just like I did on my solar backups and batteries and solar panels. You two do your own work. Don't do mine. Frauds. So anyway, folks, that is my belief on the second part of the talk. On the first part, like I said, I'm not worried about it because I'll never be part of the beast system. Part of the beast system will be those who fall into compliance and worship of the beast and an idol made of his image. That is the beast system. I don't have to worry about getting to that part. I have to worry about preparing myself and a non-compliant family to prepare them for the difficult times we're about to go into. All right, folks. That is all.